What is up, everybody? This is me behind a screen, like you didn't see it, but I just landed. Luckily, I live 10 minutes from the airport and landed, put everything back together. And if you see like the rest of the office, it is an absolute mess. So you're seeing me behind a computer screen. Luckily for you, I have done zero research today on the plane. These three guys, though, have done research. So I want to introduce you to Davis Maddock up top, fresh from San Francisco. Davis, did you see the picture I took of you on the plane?
Yeah, I hate you, dude. Like, you're the worst. That was like after how great of a time we had. I don't know why you wanted to spoil our trip together.
Listen.
Can I see the picture?
What's that?
Can I see the picture?
Yeah, you can. Just Twitter search @SoccerDave by handle.
Oh
my!
Someone's feisty today.
Oh my gosh! Don't mess with me. Sorry.
Wow.
But, after Davis, like they made me sleep on. I put three chairs together last night.
Oh, well, why did that happen, David? We had a contest. You lost.
I heard you made an awesome upgrade of the hotel room.
I don't.
Yeah.
I heard you upgraded to less beds.
Stop.
Which makes sense if you've got 4 guys sharing.
Wouldn't that be a downgrade?
Okay. Well, let me introduce.
Well, in any reasonable world, but
let me introduce everybody else.
Dave's world.
Let me introduce everybody else. Michael Leone from RotoExperts.com. You might know Michael as the guy who has purple walls and who does a daily fantasy rundown. And
This analysis is excellent, David.
And who told me to play freaking Cardinals yesterday. So.
Oh my god, dude!
Can I tell the story about yesterday?
If you saw the Daily Diamond, you would see that Phillies were the recommended plays, my friend.
Oh, I know.
At least, Zach Wheeler bailed me out, though. I had him up there, so that hopefully made up for it. But I was heavy on Cardinals.
Listen,
that's what they call the Xanax effect. That picture right there, unbelievable, dude.
So, also, the Daily Fantasy Elite games, freaking Napster, man, like, took all the Oakland bats, and that's what made me go Cardinals, like, because they were the next best team. So, Nap came back and beat me. Davis came back and beat Draft Cheat by 0.5.
0.5.
We'll pull up the link later on for some of the games. Was fun. We'll be doing it again. Like, there will be some games going on, like Jeff Mans and Tommy are drafting today. Not against each other, but...
Derek and Tommy are facing each other today.
What's the link to the schedule again? Can you put that in the chat? Or is the chat... I don't see the chat up.
Yeah, you have to refresh. It's there.
Okay.
Yeah, or you just search my Twitter and it's right there too.
Oh my gosh! Hey, Michael. Newsflash: there's Twitter these days. All right, guys.
Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna tell the story about the Cardinals bats for you, David.
Don't.
So we're all sitting in the hotel room setting lineups, and it's about 30 minutes before lock, and Kitchen goes, "Hey, so how's the weather in St. Louis?" And if you are a reader of the Daily Fantasy Rundown, you use their cheat sheets, they highlight their plays in red if there are lineup or weather concerns. And so I knew immediately what David was doing, was that he was using Leone's cheat sheets to play the game. And then I said that, and then everyone else in the room was like, "Oh, then what are you using to make your lineups, Davis?" And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is using Cardi's new stuff.
Was totally busted. So, yeah, they're giving me a hard time. But I did have the cheat sheets next to... I have compiled up the cheat sheets with the Daily Diamond stuff. So I use everything. And that's why I'm ranked...
What you should do.
Yeah, that's why...
I discovered this. David Kitchen is not a tout. He has no opinions. He really doesn't.
I do have opinions. You know what that is? Davis has never... known what a courtesy flush is before San Francisco. Like I said, what about a courtesy flush? And he legitimately said, "What is that?"
Are you serious? Do you not wipe your ass either?
He had never done one before.
We all learned a lot about each other this weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely a team building. There's a lot of fun stuff. Maybe we'll get to some of that stuff on a slow-paced day. But guys, just go ahead and take today.
All right. I just touched down, so I haven't looked at weather at all. Laffy, is there any games that we need to be concerned about in terms of weather?
I mean, yeah, there are, but at the same time, so much changes from hour to hour. I mean, just look at the White Sox game yesterday. That game looked like there was no chance they'd play it. They ended up playing it. And then a couple days ago, Cleveland and LA didn't look that bad. And then by the time first pitch is supposed to come around, it's rained out. But I'm looking at it right now, and there's not much, man. There was earlier today. There was a lot. I guess there's scattered storms in Cincinnati.
Cincy looks a little bit scary.
I wouldn't be worried about that though. But again, you just got to keep your eyes on it. Other than Cincinnati, there's nothing. But I always check right before 7 o'clock anyway. So
well, the thing like with that Cleveland game, which I thought was going to get played, but once there's a bad forecast, like risk doesn't completely go away just because it changes. You know what I mean? Like it could just change back. And when there's rain before the game, sometimes that screws it up. So that's what worries me in Cincinnati is even though it's okay during the game, it's 100% like the few hours before the game.
But that's why we have radar. You got to check the radar. You see a big green, yellow, and red blob coming towards you. Odds are you could be in some trouble.
Yep. All right. Well, let's start talking about the pitching then. Obviously, Strasburg is the #1 option today. I will hear no other analysis that suggests differently. I bet Lofty likes Price tonight.
I like both of them, but I don't think I'm going to use either of them on two-pitcher sites. There's too many good bats out there, and I think I can get good pitching out of several other guys tonight for a much cheaper price.
Who's your favorite secondary option?
God, there's a lot. You know who I like at a bottom tier option on DraftKings is Henderson Alvarez. The strikeouts aren't big, but this guy's he's torched the Mets this year. He already has a complete game against them, and not only that, but he's been very solid, man. I don't understand how someone can throw as hard as he does and only average less than 6 strikeouts per 9, but he still has good stuff, and I like him against the Mets. I'm also betting on a bounce back from Corey Kluber. His strikeout stuff is just incredible, man. He's got 2 pitches that are 2 of the best. What is it? The
pitch
cutter
values on Fangraphs. Yeah,
it's insane. Well, I think the pitch value on his cutter is like 4th in baseball among all pitches. But then he also has that curve, man. He's just a great strikeout pitcher. Detroit's not hitting that well. And their lineup is so righty stacked, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he has the platoon advantage on the guys you're worried about.
And 8,800 on DraftKings, Davis. You know how cheap that is for someone that has 40 fantasy point potential? So I think he's someone to consider. I also like Jaime Garcia. So as a lefty against the Phillies. While I like Strasburg and Price a lot, I don't think you necessarily have to spend on either of them tonight. That's just my opinion.
I'm spending on Strasburg everywhere. I think that on DraftKings, on Draft Street, Draft Day, Strasburg's not even the most expensive prices. I would absolutely never use a left-handed starting pitcher against the Astros. It's just asking for trouble. Sure, he might K like a fair amount, but you can't do it. What are you shaking your head for, Leone?
Dude, you've been right that the Astros aren't as bad as people think they are, but I don't know if they're...
No. Not only bad, they are the 8th best offense against left-handed pitching.
Right, so 8th best, and then they get a downtick in park shift, and they strike out a lot versus a pitcher who has striking out more than 10 guys per 9. Like, that's a ton of points to be had. So if he gives up a few bombs, if he gives up 3 to 4 runs, you're still going to be okay because he's going to have so many strikeouts.
That's why Price is maybe... He is a top 5 daily fantasy pitcher for that exact reason that Mike just mentioned. He gave up 5 runs in the first inning against Boston a couple weeks ago. He came back and ended up with 8 innings pitched and like 9 strikeouts. The guy will go deep in every single game. I mean, save for a couple outliers, and he's going to rack up the strikeouts. Houston's a lot better than they were, but by no means are they a juggernaut. You have Matt Dominguez, Chris Carter. How many guys on that team that K 3 times a game? I'm with Leone on this. I mean, I understand.
I will not tolerate any Matt Dominguez slander on this show.
He is
I don't know what you see in him.
He double-donged once when he was in my lineup, and he donged off Price last time these 2 teams played like a week and a half ago.
I'm not saying that they're not going to do any damage to him, but I think you go, Astros are better than people think, so therefore you can't take a pitcher against them, which seems pretty short-sighted. I just think Strasburg is in so much better of a spot, is basically what it comes down to. I prefer Strasburg strongly, but I wouldn't be shocked if Price outscored him.
No, dude.
I wouldn't be
The Atlanta Braves are number 1 in weighted on base average and ISO against lefties, and Cole Hamels went in there with 7 innings and 7 strikeouts a couple days ago. So, I mean, a lot of it, yeah, sure, it means a lot. And I'm with you, Davis. Do I think he's the best pitcher going tonight? No. But would I blame you for taking him? Absolutely not. He's a safe play almost every time.
Yeah,
Safer than Strasburg. Safer than Strasburg.
Don't get me started with the Strasburg stuff, with the BABIP and the XFIP and the swinging strike
I didn't
percentage.
start with any of that, buddy. Now, Strasburg's at the top of the league in almost everything this year, but, if you read the article about him, he intentionally decreased his velocity by, I think it's 3 miles per hour in order not to throw his arm out. And he's still going to get strikeouts because he was throwing, high 90s before. But I think that might have something to do with, he's averaging less strikeouts this year than he had in the past, right?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay,
he's still striking out a lot of guys.
His strikeout percentage is 28.8 this year. For his career, it's 28.9. So he's right in line.
I mean, I know for a fact, though, he's decreased his velocity intentionally. I would have thought that it could affect...
he has, but it doesn't seem to have had an ill effect on any of his numbers.
Right, because he's still throwing so fast anyway.
What he's doing differently, though, if you look, he's way below his career. Like, he's 5% below his career average in the percentage of pitches thrown that's a fastball, and he's throwing a slider now, and he's throwing a changeup 6% more than his career average.
He scrapped the slider.
He did scrap the slider, but he's just throwing the off-speed stuff more, and he's throwing the off-speed stuff earlier in counts than he had before. He's trying to make, I think he's probably trying to make the transition from thrower to pitcher. He sort of realized that he needed to do that after he threw out the arm. I'm still going to use him. I love Steven Strasburg.
So do I. By no means, Davis, am I saying I don't like him tonight. I just like to, present different, alternate options in the event that other people don't want to play him.
Well, we don't have time for that around here.
Already happened, fella.
As far as other secondary pitching options, I think the players that most people are going to be on are in this San Diego Los Angeles Dodgers game. I think a lot of people are going to want to use Dan Herron tonight.
I don't know why.
And that's the same thing as I do not like Dan Herron.
He has virtually zero upside. I don't care if he's pitching, with walls that go back 900 feet. The upside isn't there. Like, okay, maybe Herron's a decent cash game play, but what has he really done to show us that he's capable of throwing up a really solid game against any team at this point?
Yeah, I will tell you this. Derek Carty's projections have him very highly, and I was talking to him on...
And who do they have first, buddy?
Price.
Exactly.
So clearly they're worthless.
So I'm just saying, so what does that mean?
No, I'm just giving Derek a hard time. But Derek's point, he was talking to me on GChat. Derek's point was that he has the park shift and the offense raising Herron's expected K rate up, just like with the contextual factors. So the reason that I never take Dan Herron is that I don't think the K upside is there. But just with the lineup in the park, Derek thinks that the K upside is there a little bit more. I'm not going to use Dan Herron. If I'm using a pitcher in this game, it sounds counterintuitive to take the pitcher from the worst team against the better offense, but Ian Kennedy's just a better pitcher. Maybe not for his career, but definitely this year he's been way better.
With strikeouts? Oh, my God, yeah. Herron has thrown 7 innings once over his last 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what Derek's doing, and Drew wrote up Herron as well today, but pitchers whose velocity drops like Herron's had, he's only throwing 87 miles per hour. Sometimes it doesn't matter, the offense they're going against or the park they're going into. Right. Like, we saw this with Verlander, who's just kind of a mess this year. Like, if you're not right, you're not right. And even though Herron hasn't been getting shelled, I don't know. I could see, like, on DraftKings, you're talking 8,100. Like, that's a pretty good price for a cash game.
But you'd so much rather take Kluber for 700.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Garcia, for me.
Yeah, I mean, Garcia's the guy I really like as a mid-tier guy. He's been pitching really well.
See, why don't you talk about that? Because I don't like Garcia.
Why not?
Just sort of for the same reason that I don't like Herron is I don't see the upside, I guess.
Well, the Phillies are finally dropping in, weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitching. They were kind of up there early, and I think it was a little bit fluky since a lot of their good hitters are left-handed and don't hit left-handed pitching that well. And Garcia, he's just a solid all-around pitcher. You don't need huge upside from everyone. So maybe he's not going to strike out, 10 guys, but he can give you 6 strikeouts in 7 innings. He gets a ton of ground balls. He's pitching really well right now. He's at home. I just think it's a pretty safe play for a secondary starting pitcher on a multiple pitcher site.
But Heron's a pretty safe play too.
I think Garcia is safer than Heron.
I think Garcia goes 8 innings tonight for Garcia. Would not be a stretch at all.
Heron's contextual factors might make him look as safe as Garcia, but if you look at their skills, Heron's got a 412 FIP. He's throwing 87 miles per hour. He's only striking out 5.8 per 9. Garcia looks to me to be a lot safer. He had a 3.27 xFIP last year before he got hurt. He's got a 2.95 xFIP in 6 starts this year. He's a really solid pitcher.
And he has, Mike, and he's gone 7 innings in 4 of his 6 starts, and he has 5 or more strikeouts in each of those 4 starts, and 6 or more in 3 of those. So, look, he's not going to give you 10 strikeouts, but first of all, you're going up against a very impatient Phillies team. You're going up against a Phillies team that Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd are in the top 4, each of them in the National League, other than the Upton brothers in strikeouts. And then you have Utley, who will strike out against lefties. So will Rollins. I could easily see. Now, the Phillies are hitting better of late. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They're getting to some decent pitchers, but they're not good versus lefties, despite what any of the numbers may say this year. They simply aren't. There's one team I know, it's the Phillies. I could easily see Garcia going 8 innings with an earned run and 7 or 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, and if you look at the Vegas team totals, the Phillies and Padres pretty much have the same team total. Both of them are 3.5, with the money odds kind of pushing them towards 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate either of those plays. I just think, honestly, I think there's enough value to be had with all of the crazy stacking stuff you can do today. I think you can kind of take your pick, and my pick would be Strasburg and Kluber, basically. That's who I would try and combine.
Yeah, I think Kluber, you're going Kluber if you want upside, but I think Garcia is probably safer.
Yeah, that's probably reasonable. I won't quibble with that too much.
But I agree. I think DraftKings, you can fit Strasburg in and then take a second pitcher that's not a ton in cash games.
You know what else is interesting is Kluber's upside at home this year has been simply insane. You just look at the splits, not ERA. Look outside of ERA, but his WHIP is considerably down at home. And just going off DraftKings, you're looking at 25.5 fantasy points per game at home and 14.9 on the road, with a decent, moderate sample size at each park. So I like him tonight. Detroit has done nothing to show anything lately. I'm a little worried, Kluber might be coming back down to earth, but I do think he's a legitimate ace. I really do. And I think he's here to stay.
All right, before we move on to talking about stacks and hitters, we'll just ask the Draft Street strategy question. With the elite upside from guys like Kluber and Strasburg, we didn't even talk about James Shields against a Mariners lineup that sucks but is pretty lefty heavy. Do you think tonight is a night where you try and go 3 starting pitchers, or is there just so many hitters that you want to get in your lineup that it's better to go 2 starting pitchers, 1 reliever on Draft Street?
For me, there's so many hitters.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
I think, I know Drew thinks you should go 3 starting pitchers, but, honestly, I think if you threw Price Strasburg relief pitcher, that would be a fine strategy even in cash games.
I have, because I kind of want to play Tulowitzki. So right now I have Kluber and I have Strasburg and James Shields right now with Kenley Jansen is the pitchers that I'm rolling out. That's probably a little bit too volatile for cash games. I'm still tweaking, but I definitely do think tonight is a 2 starting pitcher, 1 reliever night.
You got Shields in there?
Yeah, I do like Shields tonight. Ben and I were talking about it on the plane. Just his peripherals were not as bad as I thought they were. I'm like the most pessimistic Royals fan in the world. So like anytime one of our starting pitchers gives up like 2 or 3 earned runs, I'm like, oh, he's toast. Like he's never going to be good again. But his peripherals haven't been that bad, and the Mariners, left-handedness aside, are just a bad offense.
They have. How about this? Ready? They have their first 6 hitters are lefties, and they have 7 of 9 hitters that are lefty tonight. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and we had this conversation when Price faced that Marlins lineup with 9 right-handed bats. It's generally something I try to avoid, but $16K for Shields on Draft Street that's a very low price for him.
Yeah, I think that's a really good play.
Yeah, he's cheap.
I think you want, I don't know, it seems like there's so much upside in pitching and hitting tonight that I think the 2 starting pitcher, 1 relief pitcher works, because I want to get guys in there that can have huge games, and I don't care if I sacrifice maybe a little bit of value in a 3rd starting pitcher, which on most nights I would normally just take to the bank. But tonight I'd rather have give me a really top tier starting pitcher and then let me squeeze in some top tier hitting.
Yeah, the issue with tonight is that none of the guys below 15K are guys you're using. Like, you're not using Jared Cozart, you're not using, Joe Saunders, you're not going to use Hector Noesi. There's none of those, guys who are super mispriced. So you're either fading Strasburg and Price entirely and taking 3 of the mid-tier guys. I think it is the way to go tonight. But, I mean, we'll find out. It's always gambling with the closer, but when they come in, don't allow any base runners, get a K, and get the save. That's just money. That's a free 7 Draft Street points. It's always nice. Okay, let's talk about hitters. Who wants to talk about the Rocky stack? I'll let Laffy do it.
I don't even know if there's much to talk about. Marco Estrada has allowed the most home runs in the league, and it's not even close. Wade Miley's second with 17. Estrada has 23 allowed. He's also allowed the most on the road with 14, and he's going in the Coors Field tonight. This could be bad. You know what's funny about this though is Estrada is allowing a 189 batting average to lefties this year, but then they have an ISO well up over 250 or something. So it's pretty right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's home run or bust. But with Charlie Blackmon and Corey Dickerson, I'm willing to take that risk. Same with Justin Morneau. I think Troy Tulowitzki, regardless of price, is a must-play.
It is a must-play.
This guy's, it's unbelievable what he's doing at home. He's literally hitting every other at-bat he's getting a hit. It's insane right now. So while Estrada isn't a lefty, I still love what we have there tonight. I would honestly play anyone from that Colorado lineup, save for DJ LeMahieu, who just doesn't really have much upside at all, unless he's really cheap.
Yeah, so a couple things about that. One, so the first instinct with Estrada is to say that he's been getting lucky, or getting unlucky. But if you look at the type of contact batters are making, that's not true. Second of all, he's always been a home run prone guy.
Right.
In the minors, everything. He's been the type of guy that when he misses his spots, he misses really bad. And also, he's out of the rotation after this start. His manager, Ron Renicky, said the only reason he's making this start is so they don't have to have the AAA call-up prospect guy, Jimmy Nelson, pitch in Coors. So the only reason he's pitching this is they're throwing him out there as a sacrificial lamb in Coors, basically. Yeah. They're saying, go out, get shelled for 4 innings, but we're trying to save the young kid's arm for another start.
Dude, don't jinx it like that, man. Oh, that was bad. But let's be real. Let's say he is getting unlucky, right? What's to say that he's going to get lucky now at Coors Field? So I don't think that matters anyway. It's.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about how sometimes it's home run or bust against Estrada, and I don't like to pick on him as much as Davis, but when you consider the environment,
right.
I mean,
yeah, and
today's not the day you're betting on the home run to fly ball rate regressing, and it's not like he hasn't had an elevated one for his entire career. So, an 18.7 home run to fly ball rate seems super unlucky, but for him, it's only, a little bit unlucky because his career is 13%, and there also could be something wrong. I know Keith Law is really down on him, just from some tweets that I've seen, so maybe there's something more going on than just bad luck.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've had this argument with you and Dink and Cardi a bunch. We're because I would type in G chat. I'd be like, he has the worst home run per 9 in the whole league, and you guys would be like, Davis, you're really citing 1 year home run to fly ball down the street. That's
I
so,
will agree
that's
with
so
that.
noisy.
Like, that's kind of a horrific thing.
Noisy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
agree with that. That's
It's-
kind of horrific to like look at that.
It's been a weakness for his whole career, and it's getting worse. Is my point basically.
Well, make that point.
I am making that point. That's the point I've been making.
No, you have more than once said the reason you like picking on him is because he leads the league in home runs per 9 by a lot.
And it's been, for what it's worth, it's gotten worse his last 5 starts. The home run per 9 has gotten worse each of his last 5 starts.
Need we bother make any more points on this? It's Marco
No.
Estrada.
Yeah, what the hell are we doing? Let's move on.
Okay, all right. Let's both
Play your Brewers, play your Rockies.
Exactly.
Did we
Alright,
talk about? I mean, we really didn't talk about Bergman too much, did we?
No.
Go ahead.
I don't think he's very good. No, I don't like guys who in the minors. He was a decent pitcher, but he wasn't great. He doesn't strike people out, and he had home run problems in Double-A last year, Triple-A this year, more than a home run per 9. So if you've got those low K rate, decently high home run numbers in the minors, and then you step into situations like in Coors Field, like that's not a good recipe for success.
Yeah, and another thing, Mike, he's gone in his first 2 starts against Atlanta and San Francisco, 2 of the most strikeout-prone teams in baseball, and he's recorded 7 total strikeouts against them. This could be bad news tonight, and I don't see any reason why not to play Milwaukee bats. But here's one misconception, though, that you hear a lot. Milwaukee they're better versus right-handed pitchers. I don't care if they don't have the platoon splits. If we're gonna go by what we've seen this year, right now, they're hitting righties better than they are lefties. Simple.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at all these terrible lefties that they faced recently, Davis, and they've really not done that much against them. Sure, they've had, Lucroy does something here, or you get a little bit of this, a couple guys, but you're not seeing that huge stack potential that you would expect to see from a team that's so righty heavy.
The only one you can count on versus lefties is Chris Davis. He's been the only one who every time versus lefties had a big
Lucroy-
game.
I mean,
solid
I
player.
don't know. I love them versus lefties. They're better versus lefties than righties. If you
They're
look
really
at
not
all the
that-
historical platoon splits,
well,
I mean,
If you look
they
at the
haven't been
year
this.
data.
I think the important point is they're not bad versus same-handed pitching. Last year they were decent against it. We just assume sometimes they'll be bad versus right-handed pitching. That's not always the case. It really depends on the pitcher they're going against. I disagree with the part about lefties, but tonight I think we can agree they're facing a bad right-handed pitcher, and they have the bats and the skills to succeed against
Right.
a bad right-handed pitcher, especially one that gives up power.
I guess
I'm probably not going to end up with any of them, and I know that's a mistake, but I just think there are so many other hitters who I like better with the platoon split, and it's a mistake, and I already know it.
Yeah, the Scootmeister is one of the only guys I'll probably have in there. Scooter Janae.
Is he still super cheap on DraftKings?
Is
No,
Scootmeister his really his nickname?
Yeah,
Yes.
It is now.
I just made it up, but it sounds pretty gnarly. Scooter's bad enough, man. Plus he's been on a tear recently.
I don't understand why his price doesn't. It finally rose on FanDuel, but if you look at Draft Street and
DraftKings is 4,100.
DraftKings especially, right?
No, it's high.
It's up to 41 now.
But that's for one reason. They weight the park factor so heavily at Coors Field. That's the only reason his price up. Look what Lucroy is. You see his price?
I haven't even. I locked Darren Jones.
5,400 on DraftKings.
Jeez, that's crazy.
That seems like a lot.
Unplayable at the catcher position. Would you? Hold on. Let me ask you this, Mike and Davis, before we move on. Would you play William Rosario?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
because I think Estrada's that bad.
I would
I
agree.
think he still hits homers off right-handed pitching, doesn't he? I mean, I don't have the stats right in
he
front of me,
does.
but-
He's just really solid against lefties. That's the
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's otherworldly against lefties.
Right.
You could. I mean, he hit a home run in LA against Rue, who doesn't even
Yeah.
have bad platoon splits.
Actually, he has great. Ryu. Sorry to cut you off, Mike. Ryu has, I believe, he has one of the best left same-handed splits Or no, I'm sorry. He has
The
the best
opposite-handed
platoon splits in baseball. One of the best. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Because of the
Yeah,
changeup.
but
The changeup,
the important thing is he's still, a home run threat going against a guy who gives up home runs. So if you can get him at a good price tag, like 3,200 on FanDuel, like that's not bad. Even though
I agree.
Like better on base guys there still, and even DraftKings 4,000.
That's cheap.
See, when you're playing for the home run with guys like that who have such crazy power, the platoon split doesn't matter as much. It's the average that suffers a lot of the times against, same-handed pitchers.
Which on FanDuel can hurt you, but DraftKings you're not going to see that.
Yeah.
Which is not. I think $4,000 though. I will move on, but I think $4,000 on DraftKings is really cheap playing at home. He's usually jacked up through the roof when they go back to Coors.
Do the Brewers have any lefties in their pen that they use a lot, Leone?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
By the way, Brandon Barnes is 3,200 on DraftKings.
Yep.
So cheap.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start talking about the positions. Starting with catchers, we just got a little bit there with Rosario. I really like Derek Norris tonight against the lefty. Basically, I lock him. He's getting really expensive on FanDuel though, because he donged in his last start, I believe. But I like to lock in him versus a lefty pretty much every time. And I don't think DeBrant is good at all, really. And Chris Iannetta versus Joe Saunders also in a hashtag pretty good spot. Who do you like, Laffy?
I like both of those guys. I'm not huge on Iannetta. He seems to be so inconsistent, and I know that's kind of a common theme at the catcher position. I want to say Miguel Montero, but Lincecum's really been terrible against righties over the past few years. But I think you nailed Norris, and I think Rosario, definitely Lucroy if you can fit him, but I just don't see that happening on DraftKings. I'm not sure what he is elsewhere. It's a couple more guys would be Molina. I have no problem with Yadier Molina tonight, and Brian McCann is another one.
Yeah, McCann came up for me last night when I was setting lineups. I know you. Do you like Salta Lamacchia tonight, Leone?
Oh my god, I love Salta Lamacchia. Did I say that right?
No, you just got really excited.
I know, but I think I said it right. Which come on, guys, that's a big deal.
For you, that's like a
Salta Lamacchia.
Excellent.
No, but I hate Dice K. I know he's probably. I know sometimes, Davis, I yell at you for picking on pitchers who aren't as bad as you think they are, and that's probably what I do with Dice K a little bit, admittedly. But he's hitting 5th. He's pretty cheap. He's almost the minimum on FanDuel. Dink just told me Iannetta is hitting 9th, so you've got a guy in a good spot who doesn't have a great batting order. So Salty hitting 5th. He's got good power against right-handed pitching, and Dice K is kind of he walks guys or he gives up home runs.
Yeah,
he's got a huge fly ball rate. He's walking 6.48 guys per 9. I was saying I'm not playing a lot tonight because I won't be around at roster lock, but I'm throwing a team in the draft street quality, and I really like the Marlins as an under-the-radar stack with people probably on the Reds and, the Rockies, Brewers. Because I think, Dice K, like I said, he's an event pitcher. He gives up home runs, he gives up walks, which leads to big innings, and he gives up steals.
I really like the concept of an event pitcher. I think that's cool.
I think I just made that up. I don't even know if it makes sense, but it didn't.
No, it absolutely does, because there are lots of guys who have really bad whips, but they don't give up home runs. They don't give up big innings. And Dice K is the exact opposite. He just lets people go crazy against him. So
he might pitch decently most games, but when it goes bad, it can go bad in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm very cool with that. Are there any other people that we need to mention at the catcher position? I almost said it, but I didn't.
But you said very cool.
Do we need to talk about Posey at all?
I mean, I guess we can.
BVP.
I'm so.
I think,
we're about to have a big BVP conversation. So
I think for him, I just know off the top of my head that Kyle Mentor's fly ball rate versus right-handed batters is insane. So then you get Posey with a huge park shift versus a guy who gives up a ton of fly balls, and I think there's probably a lot of home run upside there, and he's going to be in a good spot in the lineup, where some of the other splits plays, we really like them individually, but sometimes they don't end up in the best of lineup spots.
Wait, who did you say was the fly ball pitcher?
Yeah, Kyle Mentor. It is Kyle Mentor tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't he I think he gives up a ton of fly balls to right-handed batters. I'm gonna look it up.
I have trouble playing. I'm with Davis here. Like, Davis, would you agree that Buster Posey has left a pretty bad taste in your mouth?
Oh, dude! Every time I take him, every time he
last time you take him, and every time he's brilliant. And now, hey, 9 for 6 with 2 bombs and a double off of Cole Mentor.
In 226 innings against right-handed batters since 2011, Cole Mentor has given up a 52.3% fly ball rate, which is
pretty solid,
huge. But
right,
I don't love him as a value play, but I think he might get lost in the shuffle that he could be a pretty good tournament play tonight.
Yeah, especially if his price is down, and it should be in a lot of spots.
Let's do the first base thing. Let's get this stupid Goldschmidt conversation out of the way. You can't. The opportunity cost with Goldschmidt is so ridiculous tonight that if you roster him in a cash game because of BVP, like, it's such a minus EV decision that it, like, honestly makes me angry.
It is, but the problem, oh God, in all seriousness, like, if there's one guy that with BVP has just continued to make things happen, it's Goldschmidt. I mean, he does own Lincecum. I know it's not that many at bats, but I honestly feel like every time I watch him bat against Lincecum, he's hitting the home run. At the same time, he's super expensive. There are so many good first base options, including Matt Adams, that is going to be flying well under the radar tonight against Burnett, who has struggled mightily. He's got like a 5.8 xFIP, I think, against lefties this year. Matt Adams is going to go under the radar, and he's super cheap on a lot of sites. So if you want to go against the grain, there's a nice play right there. But I don't know, Mike. What do you think about Goldschmidt? You think he's worth the money?
Hello?
Leone.
Hey, so I want to plead the fifth on this conversation because it's burned me too many times in the past.
All right, well, I'll ask you this then, okay? I'll ask you this. I do like Goldschmidt tonight, but here's why. It's not as much the BVP as it is Lincecum's really big struggles against right-handed bats.
Yeah, I think... Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to...
No, go ahead.
Well, one, I don't like BVP because I think in the 99% of cases, it's not predictive on its own because the sample size isn't big enough. So I do think it's possible for certain hitters to see certain pitchers better than others. It's just that BVP isn't necessarily telling us that. You know what I mean? Like it probably exists, but just because someone has a good BVP doesn't mean that it exists in that situation. It's still random. But this one, like, when you combine how extreme the sample size or the production is in the small sample size with the fact that it's a good park, Goldschmidt has big home run upside to begin with, and Lincecum has, somewhat reverse splits. He's given up a 24.6 line drive rate to right-handed batters this season. He's, the last few seasons, his weight on base average versus righties isn't good. So I think it's one of those cases where maybe the BVP matters, maybe it doesn't, but there's enough other evidence to go along with it where I wouldn't fault you for playing the BVP tonight.
Right, exactly. You're not playing him strictly on BVP. I think that's really all we need to say about it, is it's not a bad matchup to begin with. And the park factor, considering factor in the park, and you have a quality matchup if you were to erase the BVP altogether.
Yeah, but I do say, like Davis said, the opportunity cost, you've got guys like Votto and Morneau in really good spots for, about $1,000 cheaper per site.
Yeah, I just think you have to take Morneau in cash games tonight. Like, if you want to try Goldschmidt
or Votto,
that's fine.
I don't think you need to. I think Morneau's been good, but I really think there are a lot of really good options out there. I don't think you need to take him in cash games tonight. I think he's a great play, but I don't think he is a must play at the first base position.
Yeah, I don't think he's a must play either. I mean, I think Votto I would probably take over Morneau at the same price point.
Tell us why you love Votto tonight, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of have a man crush on Votto in general, because I think he's amazing.
Okay, well,
And-
play Votto.
And I think Liam Hendricks is just god awful. And it's not like Votto's in a bad park. Like, it's not Coors, but, for home runs, it's not that far off either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really like.
Liam Hendricks is really bad.
He is. But
Like,
I
the
just want
Zips
exposure.
projected rest of season ERA for him is 5.59 with 1.53 home runs per nine.
Between
Steamer has it at 4.41 with 1.37 home runs per nine. Like, those are bad numbers.
between Blackman, Dickerson, and Morneau, I would set the line for home runs at 1.5. And I don't know which one of them is going to hit it, but I know that they're going to come, and so I want all three of them. Just
Yeah, but
just
I
to cover my
think-
bases.
I think you could make a similar line for like prorated for like Votto and Jay Bruce. So why not go like Votto, Bruce, Blackman, Dickerson?
Because Coors.
Why not? Why are you grouping? I don't think you need to group them separately. I guess is what I'm saying. Why not get
Bruce is a
get
piece
two
of
guys against Hendricks and two guys against Estrada?
It's just not what I'm doing. like just straight up. I hate Estrada. I hate Estrada more than anyone I know, and this is the perfect spot for him to get destroyed, and I want all the exposure against it I can.
Listen, you guys are sleeping on Matt Adams tonight. He needs to be in the. He needs.
Oh my God, I have such a bad taste in my mouth from all Cardinals from last night and David Buchanan.
Okay,
I
fine. I didn't play any Cardinals except Matt Holliday. I actually played Ryan Howard, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, why don't you brag about it?
I still lost last night. So my point here is that AJ Burnett is really struggling versus lefty. Dude, he is not the same pitcher he was. He's not good right now. He's walking a ton of batters. Adams is hitting in a good spot. I'm telling you, man. I'm saying, if you want some salary cap relief, if you want to get those Colorado bats in your lineup, you want to get like Blackman and Dickerson and Tulowitzki in your lineup. $3,900 for Matt Adams on DraftKings is super cheap, man. It really is.
Yeah. Someone just asked about CJ Crone in the chat. Jordan. I mean, I like him all the time.
I like him.
Is it I think Napoli, he's a decent player, right? Doesn't Brad Mills, suck there?
I mean, Brad Mills was traded for $1, so I can't imagine that ending super well.
So I mean, Napoli's kind of cheap. And I mean, if we're on the Milwaukee Colorado game so bad, Mark Reynolds, talk about a guy who can, give you 2 home runs on any given night.
Yeah.
49-79
guys,
draft streak.
Guys, we spent forever talking about stacks. We gotta hurry up. Let's get around the diamond real quick. Second base,
Yeah,
Scooter.
Yeah, he's leading off, man. The lineup just came out.
Scooter Kendrick. Good, we got it.
I like Danny Espinosa for a punt too.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Okay, shortstop. Xander Bogaerts for me versus the $1 man. I love him anytime you can take him against a lefty. And someone just typed in the chat that the wind is blowing out in Oakland. I was at that stadium last night, and that seems like it would matter.
I keep liking Jed Lowry, switch hitter, decent versus both-handedness as pitchers, in a great offense, decent batting spot, and cheaper than pretty much every other viable shortstop. So I like him.
He was so salty last night, wasn't he, Davis?
Who?
Lowry.
Yeah, he was. He almost got tossed. It was pretty funny. But
Tulowitzki.
Yeah, too low.
Tulo, I know, Davis. I know you like Tulo because CSU Rams likes Tulo, and I've heard, you have quite an affinity for Peter there.
Yeah, I'm whatever. I don't know. Stop it. Okay. Third base.
Aaron Hill, by the way, at second base. I wanted to mention him. I really like him tonight. He's going deep. Bet it.
Third base. So David Freese is 2.3 versus Saunders on FanDuel, so that's pretty nice.
It is, but they really screwed us with that lineup. He's hitting 8th, and Ionat is hitting 9th, which kind of puts them more in tournament play status for me.
Yeah, that's ugly right there. That's real ugly. And Kron's batting 7th.
Oh, that gives me the sads.
Yeah, I'm sad too. We can be sad.
Why is Ibar batting 6th is the question.
Dude, he has been. I don't really get it.
Dude, where's Colin Cowgill cheap at? Leading off versus
Yeah, I know.
Saunders?
I saw that too, Davis. I think he's super cheap on DraftKings actually. 36, so not super cheap.
I got a super cheap outfield play that I think is kind of a must play. We'll get there in a second. Kevin Kiermaier, 3K
Yeah,
still.
he bombed. Dude, the projections came up and put him in my lineup last night, and I yanked him for John Jay. Brutal.
I used him last night, and
Brutal.
I made sure that I slept in the bed and not on the 3-chair system that Kitchen was on.
Womp 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 womp.
Third base. So I really like Donaldson.
You can't
basically.
see Kitchen's face, so when he says things and comes out of nowhere, it's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Do you like Donaldson tonight, Laffy?
Did you just call him Donaldson?
Yeah, his name is Donaldson.
That's cute. Not really. He's okay. Not a big fan. I mean, I like him, but again, the problem, Davis, is that I'm going to be spending so much money elsewhere. And yeah, I like it. First of all, let's call a spade here, man. He's been slumping heavy lately. I know a lot of people don't buy into that, but like, this isn't just some little terrible, slump. Like, he's been really bad lately.
Yeah, his price has dropped $1,000 on FanDuel.
Yeah, 45 on DraftKings is still a little bit rich for my blood, even though it's fair. If he was hitting well, I would love him tonight. However, the problem is Felix Doubront, while he isn't a very good pitcher, he isn't one of those guys that goes out and gets blown up every single game.
Someone just mentioned Kyle Seager in the chat versus Shields. That seems unnecessary to me.
I like
That
him.
seems like if you've got a feeling, fine, throw him in a tournament play, but that's a negative EV play for a cash game.
I like him for GPPs, though.
You
Yeah,
always like him.
I don't hate that.
I had him...
I mean, Shields can give up a home run here and there, but...
I mean, if you really wanted to go kind of mid-tier at third base, I think I'd rather just go Aramis in Coors versus a not-so-great pitcher.
Yeah, but isn't his price, except like FanDuel, is climbing, so he's not really mid-tier anymore.
Yeah. Donaldson's gotten really cheap on Draft Street.
I think mid-tier...
Yeah.
Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, Rendon.
Rendon.
Rendon is actually a really good play tonight.
I do like him.
And Sandoval, gets a big park shift, has really good splits against right-handed pitching.
I hate
I
that
don't mind
fat
him.
son of a bitch. Just because... and sorry. Lonnie Chisenhall.
Always.
Always.
You have a triple dong game, you're going to be mentioned as a play every day for the rest of the month.
There was someone...
he's part of our template for the cheat sheets now in GPP section. His name's just permanently, and it's just built in.
There was something on Fangraphs, this article I was reading, and it was like, yeah, if you want a singles hitter, if you want an all singles hitter, I guess go out and pick him up. But other than that, you're never going to get any power out of him. I look at when it was published, and it was like 2 days before the 3 home run game.
2 days before the 3.
Someone's not writing for Fangraphs.
Well, what I like about Lonnie is, he was a big prospect, so it's not like this is just some random dude who had a good game. And if you look at the projection systems moving forward, they are all believers in him. Both on Fangraphs, Zips and Steamer both have a 330 plus weighted on base average and
that's
170 plus ISO.
That's a really good point. I was listening to the Fangraphs podcast today, and Eno and Nick Minix were talking about how the bust rate for guys who were ever in the Baseball America top 10 is 30%, and Chisenhall was that level of a prospect. So he was bad for a little bit when he first came up, but we're seeing something that's closer to his true skill level now. So I don't hate that.
And he's getting serious opportunity now. He's in the lineup every day now.
And if you look, now that he's been doing well, even if you look at his career numbers, they're not bad. A 180 ISO, 334 weighted on base average, and I'm sure that's dragged down by horde numbers versus lefties. So if you're just taking them versus righties,
yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about outfield real quick.
Mike Trout.
Yeah. Ooh, he's so expensive on FanDuel, dude.
How are you paying for Trout with all these high-scoring environments?
I'm not Michael. I'm just saying I like Michael Trout tonight. That's simple.
Yeah, Michael.
Do you need to be so pessimistic towards me and critical, Mike?
Come on, Laffy. You know you can't pay that much for Trout and have so many other high-scoring environments. Mike said I got on G Chat when I got back, and Mike said that he missed me, and now he's just like regretting that instantly. He's just like, go back to wherever you were, dude. Blackman Dickerson though, like batting 1-2, like I'm just locking that in. I am locking that in.
Lock it in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good start with those guys, and then maybe just you might have to just punt your last spot though, right?
Kevin Kiermaier, dude, 25 on FanDuel, 3K on DraftKings.
Yeah, Kiermaier's a good punt. I wouldn't call him a core play though, even at cheap.
He's a core play for me just because he's so cheap. I have the same exact lineup on DraftKings and on FanDuel.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good spot.
You got two pitchers in your FanDuel lineup?
Well, yeah.
So all I have with Kiermaier is he sucks.
So, like, that's a problem that I had with him until he hit a home run yesterday. Because, like,
now all of a sudden he doesn't suck?
Yeah, I was telling Steve that same thing, and then now I just, like, somehow forgot that he sucked because he hit a home run while he was
At least you're not subjective, Davis.
Dude, I'm easily the most biased MLB daily player there is. Like, if someone does well for me, I will mention him forever for the rest of the time.
Like Matt Dominguez.
Like Matt Dominguez. What about, I think Cal Gill is a better play, though.
Cowgirl?
Yeah, I think Cal Gill is probably a better play. I think I like the Angels' offense a bit more. And Cozart has weird splits where, like, he kind of sucks overall, but it's hard to tell exactly who you want to take against to pick on him. Gerardo Parra is super cheap in a lot of places.
It's Gerardo. It's Gerardo.
Well, he's super cheap in a lot of places, and he won me the PFBC, so there's bias and subjectivity for you.
Maybe he should start his name with an H then.
Yeah. Who are your cheap guys, Laffy?
In the outfield?
Yes.
Kiermaier's obviously one of them just because he remains really cheap. And then I do like Barnes because he's very cheap. I mean, that's really about all I got. There aren't too many guys that I'm huge on that are cheap in the outfield today. But those guys I think can give you enough.
And one guy that's not super cheap that I know Davis loves is Oswaldo Arcia.
I do love me some Oswaldo Arcia. That game, like, honestly, there's so many other good games going on, but Arcia's batting 7th. Yeah, but Arcia's batting 7th.
7th?
Yeah, Suzuki.
Why?
So that sucks.
I hate the Twins. Why do they always mess around like that?
Dude, Kendrys Morales, bro. He's like an all-star, I guess.
Dude, Kurt Suzuki's batting ahead of Arcia in a right-on-right.
I just said that. Pay attention.
Oh, dang. Oh.
Leone's so tilted. Let's talk about our elite games yesterday, though. Pretty sick. I thought I was playing Tommy, but I was not. I played Draft Cheat. Thought it was completely over because he had Wheeler who threw the complete game shutout. We go into the stadium. I'm down by like 60, so I'm like, all right, good game, Peter. Like, I clearly lost. I get Girton sitting next to me. He gets a text from Mike5754, and he's like, by the way, Davis is going to beat Draft Cheat. And so that was pretty nice. You destroyed your matchup, Mike. You won by like 100.
Mike's lineup was incredible.
I got lucky that I hit on my pitchers last night, and my strategy was kind of just to go all out on them and then just fill in wherever.
Yeah, you did.
But I did notice, like, I think that's a pretty good strategy most of the time, but if your pitcher blows up, like, you can go pretty negative in a hurry.
Yeah.
Like, I lost a matchup the other day where Edinson Volquez got outscored by, like, Alfredo Simon by, like, 50, and I lost by, like, 5.
You can also lose if you stack a team that does nothing at the plate. That's what I learned.
Well, first of all, I'm wondering, how does Matt Holliday have 4 points, 0 hits, 0 walks, no hit by pitch? And then I realized every time he steps to the plate, he gets a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because they want to balance people, like, overemphasizing pitching. Like, I still heavy emphasize pitching, but at least that gives you more of, like, okay, I can get a guaranteed 4 points from a hitter instead of forcing a crappy third starting pitcher.
Or going a relief pitcher for a minimum salary.
Yeah.
And getting, like I did last night, a lot of people did, getting a 0 or going a minimum salary guy that's in the lineup and getting 4 guaranteed points.
How much is saved?
Saltalamacchia was minimum salary last night. I took him, but I wonder if he's still minimum salary tonight.
I normally wait to do elite drafts until after lineups lock so I can draft the late slate. So I haven't looked either.
It's so fun, and now it's like even extra fun, except when you lose. And Napster Man was like, he was
sitting right next to you.
He was like as boastful as Napster Man could get next to me, like double fist pumps, that sort of thing. Like
that didn't happen.
I know that it meant a lot to him.
Yeah, none of what David just said happened.
Salty is no longer 5,000. I think Mike 5754 is over there now, and he's picking out those
yeah, he's manually doing the prices every day.
Cheap guys pretty well.
That's wild right there.
I have to ask Grant though. I don't know why they have to make injured players 5,000.
No, it doesn't. I don't either.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll ask Grant next time he's on the show. Do you play tonight, Lofty?
No, I won last night, and I think there's only 2 games tonight.
Yeah, you can look at the schedule if you go to elitecup.fantasyelite.com. We'll pull it up right now.
Pretty sweet.
You can also go to on that same page. You can go to schedule and you can go to the groups. So you can see the group play, like Lofty's ahead, Davis is ahead, Knapp is ahead, Mr. Tuttle's ahead, Leonum's ahead, Soccer Dave.
Hey, Soccer Dave, can you tell me who's got the highest point total? Oh, it's not me.
Yeah,
oh my
you're
God.
like,
I bragged and I failed.
That was such a bad humble brag, dude.
Oh, it wasn't even. I wasn't trying to be humble. I was trying to be the opposite of humble. I'm clearly not very good at that.
Week 1 of fantasy football, and you have the best team in a points league. And guys,
Daily Crusher.
What?
Is Daily Crusher an FI check guy? He had 159. He's the leader.
Yeah, I think he had one of these guys played Wheeler and Buchanan in the same lineup.
Dude, Fish Cake King played Buchanan.
Yes, I saw that, and he won.
Ridiculous.
Well, I do think you should. I don't know. I like taking that pitcher over like a hitter, even if it's there.
I did my draft wrong yesterday, and as soon as it was over, I was like, "Damn, I definitely just got beat."
You escaped though.
But I got lucky though.
Davis, you and me both, buddy. I haven't played on Elite since the new pricing and the new 9 players and everything, and there was so much I had no idea what was going on. So we both got lucky, bud.
I've been playing, but like I don't. It was we were in the hotel room and doing the show. It was like this whole big chaotic thing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Davis.
That's it for us though, guys. We killed it. I mean, tonight I think is gonna be one of those nights where like a ridiculous score is winning all the tournaments. Like
you gotta guarantee the dong, man. This is a huge dong.
Oh yeah.
Gotta guarantee
huge dong night. Okay, my obvious guy is Morneau, and my under the radar is Danny Espinosa. Laffy.
All right, if it's huge dong night, I'd say my under the radars are gonna be Aaron Hill and Matt Adams, and my guarantee is... Who was your guarantee?
Morneau.
All right, mine's Tulowitzki.
All right, my guarantee is going to be Jay Bruce. Under the radar. Does Mark Reynolds count? He counts under the radar,
Not in the lineup. Not in the lineup.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Davis was real quick to correct... Not in the lineup. No, not there, guys. No.
Nope. Well, because I've done that with Oswaldo Arcia twice. Where I've taken.
I'm gonna go with Oswaldo, even though he's hitting 7th. I'll take him.
Why don't you go with Aramis Ramrez?
That's not under the radar.
He sucks. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. But he's just so sketchy, man.
Yeah, it's just those power guys with the high K, dude. Like you never know what you're gonna get. Chris Davis is gonna crush one off of Adam Ottavino, and it's gonna break all logic that's ever happened in the universe.
Why is that?
Because Ottavino just like kills left-handed batters. Like he just destroys them. He's like one of the best relievers in the league against lefties.
Yeah, did you see? I believe Chris Davis is like second in the project.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what? It was Kuroda. So what? Kuroda got scratched?
No, he's still pitching.
Then, wait, what are you talking?
He's just saying. He's just.
I'm
making
saying.
up a
I'm
weird
saying.
scenario.
I'm saying KH Davis, Brewers Davis.
Dude, I was not with you at all there, buddy.
Yeah, because you said
I see
Vino
left-
crushes lefties.
Yeah, I bet righties.
Yeah, that's where I was
This,
thrown off.
this is like our 5th conversation about something that doesn't matter today.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
You
We're
should have
talking
been in
about
San
Rosario
Francisco.
versus lefties, the Brewers versus lefties.
And then
Now
we're talking about
relief
Colorado
pitch.
You should have
Yeah,
been
we
in San
talked about Colorado for
Francisco.
way too long.
We had lots of conversations like that didn't matter.
Pritchett and I argued about David Price's xFIP for 45 minutes on the plane.
Ridiculous.
I would love to argue about this with both of you as well. We should have a show dedicated, the David Price XFIP show.
Yep, I'm
The
down.
X-
And I think maybe 6 people would tune in.
All right, well, that will do it for the show. Thanks to Michael Leone from RedoExperts.com and Davis Maddock and Dave Lochran from FantasyInsiders.com. Join us on Monday. We will have the regular crew of Davis. No, not Davis.
No.
Dave, Derek, and Tuttle. And we'll have the announcements we'll have the results for all the Elite Cup stuff. So check it out, elitecup.fantasyelite.com. And if you haven't already played on the app, make sure you go to the App Store and download it. And guys, good luck to your qualifiers, your one qualifier team tonight. Michael, Dave, you're the king of GPP, so...
He won a GPP, you remember?
Yeah, no, he wins lots of GPP, so
That is not what I said.
Good.
You're absolutely twisting
good
my
job
word.
there. And
I don't think Brandon McCarthy follows him, so.
Dude, Brandon McCarthy unfollowed me.
oh,
There's
and if you missed it, Davis wore quite possibly the most professional thing you could ever wear to a trade association conference. So, on behalf of you guys, and good luck to me in the FanDuel Survivor Tournament tonight.
Not really.
Shut it. We'll see you on Monday. Later.
Peace.
Hey. Oh, look at that.
Who that? I-G-G-Y.
Who that?